Good morning. So, I wanted to talk about how I challenge myself to do creative jump starts. They're 15-minute exercises of just doing something outside of quilting, designing, sewing, long arming, and it really has helped me over time. So, this month is something I bought a long, skinny uh, sketchbook at Hobby Lobby, and it was very inexpensive. And the whole point is doing art journaling, and some people call it junk journaling, like making collages out of junk. So, let me show you a couple of the things that I've been working on that have given me some really, really cool thoughts on future projects. All of the things here were created out of things that were destined to be thrown away. Like this is a V, which is for Vicky, and it's a little wrinkled, but I flatten it out and I keep flattening it out. It looks great. These were miscuts. If I were to show you some hiding some of the problems, I made a mistake on the Cricut and cut off the edges of some of these flowers. But then I thought, wouldn't it be fun to add little Zentangle like little embellishments like these and the circles, bubbles. Then I had leftover circles from a project when I made a felt circle screen like a curtain for my front room. And oh, you gotta have a little sparkle. This was just so much fun. Oh, a three-dimensional butterfly too. It was so much fun to make. It really tapped into this inner child and trying to find something cohesive in a design. I really enjoyed this. This was my first attempt, and then I thought, okay, so the next page, oh, let's see if I can do it here, was I found these Victorian things from 1990. 697 left over from a calendar where you ripped off every day. It had a new picture. I loved back in the 80s and 90s, my whole home was extremely Victorian, and I've decoupaged with these, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to try to add them to my journal? And then I found a gold metallic Sharpie. You can see it shines. And I did something different on the flower on this page because with all this gold and gilded look, I thought, oh, doesn't this remind you of Valentine's Day and the little kitties? This was a cast off of a gift card holder they made at Christmas. So tried it out of paper first, and then I used it as a template for some other craft text, which is like it's a paper product, but it feels and is textured like leather. You can open it up. I put art journal, trying to add and practice a little more of my hand lettering and Zentangling. Hey, it's a journal. It's super fun. It's experiments. Tiny, tiny, repetitive, simple Zentangle things. Circles, curls. Just gave it a little jazzed up feel. And then I added some other fun things to the envelope. And then I'm like, I'm going to practice free motion quilting doodles like feathers, and just how adding just little arcs and bubbles and all of this just up the page. It's a little wild and crazy, and I was really trying something different there. It reminds me of old wallpaper. Super fun. So then the next page, it was President's Day. I had the day off from work, and I found this in the calendar that I saved. It's a George Washington page, and I thought, wow, President's Day, George Washington. This was left over. Going to be thrown away from last year's pirate-themed shop hop, but I'm like, well, it looks like a tall ship, and we had tea. I love tea, and the whole Boston Tea Party. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a little patriotic, and I left the blue dots because I thought it balanced out the color. Then I got a little bit more challenged. I wanted to do a Zentangle and color wash and paint the page. So this is my attempt at trying to do make the pages come together. I'm not sure this is completely done, but let me rotate this on the side. I started out with a circle, and the best thing you can do is buy one of these, I think you would call it a compass. And I set it down here, and there are dots. You can put your pencil in there and draw your circle. You can use these to draw other circles. And then I just filled it with things as it came to mind. And then I went on Pinterest and started looking at different Zentangle step outs. But this is basically how I do feathers. I do a spine, and then I free motion quilt, and I practice this a million times drawing the different feathers. And then when I get to the top, I come back down and do this. So this is a good practice for my free motion quilting. And then when you're done, I do this. And of course, I had a pen. I could add dots. This is practicing stipples and curls. These are a lot of the elements that I use in free motion quilting. Then you start branching out and try to fill a page. I did, these are funny little leaves, peacock eyes. Yeah, I thought they were fun. And this is just a super fun thing to draw. So then I tried to get it to join over here. And this is really more of a vertical page. And I added the flowers, and then I saw this on Pinterest, and I started filling the page with this heart-shaped leaf vine, and then filling in the spots with circles and feathers and spirals, and then I love butterflies. So I thought it would be fun to end it with like leaves blowing off into the wind. So this took a lot of time. This is more than a 10 or 15 minutes sit down and get it done. I color washed this with watercolor paint and blobbed it on with a cotton ball, and then tried to wash it evenly, let it dry. And then I did different sections of this in 10 or 15 minutes. And there is a creative jump start. This gives me some great ideas for the next quilt that I'm going to load on the frame. It also gives me some great ideas on potential quilts that I'm working on in the future. And then we have a blank page. But the fun thing is, when you do these kinds of things, it does spark creativity. I want to give you one other thing that I do that gives my brain a rest from decision making, and that is doing a sew along. So I did a sew along online with Quilts from the Attic on Instagram, and he showed how to do these improv triangles. So that led to me making a whole bunch of them, sewing along with everybody, and then putting them together improvisationally. And you can't see it on this because I'm not sure this is done. I think I'm going to add to it. And maybe this was a jump start of a canned project that everybody was doing the same thing. But now I want to expand upon this idea and make a bigger quilt top. So that's another way you can jumpstart creativity, is do a sew along. You just follow the directions. You don't have to design it all yourself. You learn a new skill. I've never pieced the triangles the way he does, and he has it up on his Instagram highlights. Fantastic. Had lots of fun playing with color and gray, yellow, black, orange, and this is fun. And it's definitely not, I thought it was going to be finished. It's not. It is not. And the other thing that I'm doing is we're going to do a sew along on the My Creative Corner 3 Facebook group. Everybody wanted to bust their stash. So this is a free pattern by Pat Sloan, and it's called Traffic Jam. And it's a great way to use up little 2.5-inch squares, and it's a great way for me to use my Cricut, which is sitting right there on my table, And in just a little bit of time, I loaded up the mat with this. I think is going to be my color scheme of yellows, blues, greens. I think I'm going to add some oranges in this value and mix it up with a cream background. And look at how many I have already. These are like things that I've had and I didn't have the perfect project for. Maybe not enough. Like this is a fat quarter. I have a quarter yard of that. I'm just going to keep adding it, make it a controlled scrappy. But it's also been very inspiring because I really love the look of this. And it's giving me some great ideas about patterns and being scrappy, using up what I have, which I super love. And now I'm going to look at her suggested layout and go, oh, Creative Jumpstart, what could I do with this that I might like a little bit different? I've never done a pieced border and had success. Maybe this is my time to do a pieced border and do something funky with the layout. Creative Jumpstarts. That's what this week is all about. Creative Jumpstarts are challenging yourself to try some new things, challenging yourself to take a pre-made program and make it your own, like the triangles and the Pat Sloan. That's for March. If you want to join me, we're sewing along on the My Creative Corner 3 Facebook group. And this was a challenge to try. I'd gotten out of practice and I was worried that I had lost all my skills. Well, I didn't. And all I needed was a book, my compass, and my favorite Micron pen. Tell me about what some of your creative jump starts are. I might try them next month. Everybody have a most fabulous day. Be creative and quilt on, everyone.